Hello everyone. Welcome back. If you have been following my social media, then you know I have been making batches of tote bags for some events that I have coming up. I have a goal to sell 50 bags by March. So I've been working, nonstop making these tote bags, and I've been getting questions because I put reels. We're making this today. Okay, this is the one that people have been seeing, this style of the tote bag. And this is the everyday tote bag. This is the, I'm going to the beach, I'm going to the library, I'm going to work. This is the survive the day bag. Of course, no, it's not, leather like a Dooney and Burke or like a Coach. It's not meant to be, obviously. This one has canvas on the bottom. I have upgraded zippers, really nice. So obviously those zippers cost more money. Zipper pulls. We have zipper on the top with the tapered edge. And of course, another zipper on this side. We are putting interfacing here, so the bag is going to be strong. And then I have, we have inside pockets. That's the width of the bag, along with keychain holder. So this is what we're making today. Going to start off with the lining, the inside lining. For the purpose of the video, you're going to see that I have already cut my fabric. I have already put, on the back of the panels, I have already put interfacing on the panels. I am using fusible fleece. You can use Decoville if you would like. I'll show you what Decoville is. I do put Decoville in some bags. It just depends, because I do custom orders for people. It just depends on what they're willing to pay for. But I do put Decoville. I can also put Decoville on the bottom canvas portion of the bag. So this is the bottom portion that we're going to be connecting, the canvas. It's strong. It's this portion of the bag here. Okay. If you wanted to make your bag stand specifically, like for that purpose, Decoville will be a really, really good option as an interface, because it's strong, it's thick. Listen. I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can hear it, but. So, it is thick. It's almost like a rubber, but it is a good option for a bag. You can use it on the side panels as well if you would like. I am not going to use it. I'm going to use fusible fleece. I do have another video on interfacing, so you can check out the differences in interfacing if you need to. Okay, so for the purpose of the video, again, these pieces have already been prepared. Let's go ahead and grab, well, I'll do it. You just watch. One piece of the panel. On the bottom, I realized, because I started making this particular bag, and then I said, I promised a video. So obviously this was originally 18 wide by 16. However, yes. However, at the bottom, what we needed to do was cut 3-inch boxes. Okay, so the 3-inch squares on the bottom for both of them. All right, I'm taking one piece, and on the panels that you have, you should have 2 panels. And again, I started sewing and then I realized I should do a video. But you should have 2 panels, and the 2 panels that you have, we're going to use the 6 by 12 panels. These are going to be the pockets that are going to go onto the panel. What I did was I put 2 panels, pretty sides together. Here, I already sewed it, but I put 2 panels together, and all I did was sewed around the edges, pretty side to pretty side, sewed around the edges, that just like this, okay, making one big rectangle. And I'm turning this right now right side out. Okay. This is what we have right now. Then you're going to obviously poke out your corners, hit it with the iron, and then sew a top stitch across the top. Okay, top stitch 1/8 of an inch directly across the top. That's all. Okay, now we're ready. This is the point that I stopped and I was like, video. Now we're ready. What we want to do at this time, we want to go ahead and find the middle of both the pockets. So I'm folding it in half. I'm finding the middle. And I want to do the same thing to the fabric on the pretty side. We're folding it together. I'm basically just going to crease it with my fingers. Nothing fancy. I want to make sure that we put this pocket directly in the middle. We want to put it right in the middle. So I know where my middle is. Going to line it up and place it 4 inches down from the top. Go ahead and pin that on. So go ahead, we're going to sew around, leave that top part open, and we're going to sew down, around, and up on the 3 sides. Oh, I'm using my new machine. I did do a video, I just never posted it. Got a new machine, Black Friday. And I didn't open it until the end of January. Probably beginning of February. So you should have one big open portion here. One big open portion. You can divide this by 2 or 3, make 2 or 3 sections. Mine, I'm just sewing right down the middle and making just 2 sections, large enough for a phone to go inside of it if someone wants to. I'm doing it in that middle where I creased it. Put 3 pockets if you want, put 2, it doesn't matter. The point is you're just providing options in your bag. And again, I just creased it with my finger, and I'm going to sew directly down the middle, down that line, to create a partition for the bag. 2 separate pockets. Obviously, it's enough space to create 3 pockets if you want. And if that's the case, then you just, divide your space into thirds. Okay, we have this. We're going to go ahead, put this to the side for a few minutes. We want the pattern fabric, and we also want the canvas at this time. So We want to grab the webbing as well. 2 strips of 45 inches each. This is 1 inch wide. You can get yours wide if you want to, 1.5, 2 inches wide. If that makes you happy, you do it, but your measurements will change in where you're placing them. Okay. I want this to be 4 inches from 4 inches from the side all the way up. Okay. I'll sew this. What we're doing is we are prepping for this right here. I'm using webbing because, one, I don't want to spend the time to quilt the outside of the whole bag. But if you wanted to put this bag in the washing machine, this webbing being attached on the outside that we're going to sew on, it's going to help hold that fabric and the interface in place when you go to wash it, because over time the fabric shifts, right? The fabric gets old and it could shift. The webbing is going to help hold it down. It's going to keep it in place because we're going to be sewing on top of it. Besides that, also it provides support on the bag and it makes it look good. It breaks up that pattern in the middle. That's what we're preparing right now. All right, so again, 4 inches from the sides. We're going to ensure that we keep the webbing straight so it doesn't curl up, or make sure it's not twisted. And we want 4 inches from the opposite side as well. When we start sewing, we're not sewing all the way to the top of this. We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, right now we just wanted to put the webbing on. Grab the canvas. This is the bottom canvas. This is 6.5 by 18. 18 is the width of the bag. And of course, I've already put the interface on just to save time. Okay. You can use deco if you want to, the Decoville that I showed you. I'm not using that. This is sufficient. This is strong enough for me. Okay, pretty side down. Go ahead and pin it. Okay. I'm going to backtrack for a second because I just realized that I had to move the camera. You probably didn't see what I did before. So I told y'all I'm trying this out. I used to do these videos. You guys used to get awesome views, but I don't have my camera person anymore. All right. So what I did was I put the webbing on. We went in 4 inches from both the left and the right sides. I pinned, made sure that this was not twisted. And all I'm doing at this point is I'm putting the canvas, pretty side, down onto the fabric. Okay, you should have a portion of, we want a portion of that webbing hanging out. Okay, you definitely want that. Don't worry about it hanging out. That's what we want. We're going to sew down right now using 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, if you feel as though you need to use a walking foot, go ahead and use a walking foot. I'm not using a walking foot. I'm using my presser foot, and I'm sewing on 3.0 for my stitches. I've never had a problem without using my walking foot. Now, what I always do when I'm sewing bags, I go ahead and put a zigzag stitch right in the seam area where the straps are, where the webbing is, just in that little section right there. I'm going to give it a little extra love, okay, and do a zigzag stitch. So I'm moving my stitches, my needles. I changed the position to, I'm using number 4, and I put it on 1.8. Every bag I do, whether it's a handbag, whether it's a tote bag, a duffel bag, I always give it some extra love. Okay. All right. You should have something that looks like this. That's what you should have. Now, underneath your seam, we need to make sure we push that seam down. And this is the part where you want to make sure that you have coordinating thread. And it's only at this moment I realized that I didn't change the color of my thread from when I was doing my lining. So I'm going to switch out the color of my thread, and I'm going to put black on because we're working with the outer bag, and I want to sew my webbing on with black. Whatever color webbing you're using, use a, it's nice to use a thread that you don't see. At this time, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the seam stays pressed down. We're going to be putting a top stitch across the bottom. We want the top stitch to go on the canvas. So your seam inside, you could iron it if you would like. Okay, I'll go ahead and iron it. We want the seam to face down towards the canvas. When you iron, I'm ironing mine. When you iron, make sure you do not iron over the webbing on the bottom because it will melt or you know, like attach to it. You don't want that. All right, we're going to sew a top stitch right down on the canvas. We're going to use about 1/8 of an inch. Be sure to switch your machine back to the regular 3.0 if you did the zigzag stitch. You guys can see how good this looks. Okay. All right. So we have the stitching across the bottom. And the reason for that is that it's going to hold the seam down, but also hold that webbing in place. So right now what we're going to do is we are going to sew on the webbing straps on the side. We want to come up the sides, go across, and go all the way back down on both of the straps, up both of the sides. However, you want to stop about 2 inches from the top. See what I did here? I put 2 pins right at the top. It's 2 inches from my top. So I know where I'm going to stop sewing when I'm going up across and then back down. Let's do that. We have the webbing secured to the bag at this point, and we have the really nice stitching on the bottom, which is holding the webbing down on the opposite side. It's holding the webbing down and the actual seam. That side is done. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Done with it. Top stitch, go ahead and do the same thing like we did before, top stitching 1/8 of an inch on the canvas. You want to hold down that seam. You're going to go ahead and put that to the side. Put one of them to the side. Grab your pocket piece. You should have two sides. One that actually has interface on it. I like to put interface on one side of mine. You do not have to. That's purely optional. And then I have one that does not have interface on. We're going to prepare the pocket by using the one side that does not have the interface on. Okay? So 2 inches from the top of the bag, 2 inches from the top, we're going to place the pocket, the fabric. Then what I'm going to do is just measure 1 inch down on the wrong side of the fabric for the pocket. I want to draw a 5-inch line. My zipper is 6 inches. And what I want to do is give enough room so that I can sew on the sides of them. So we want a 5-inch line. You can go 5 1/4. Half an inch down from where that line is drawn, half an inch down, draw another. I'm going to close up that rectangle. Draw some triangles here. And put myself a line directly in the middle. That's just so I know where I'm cutting later. You should have something that looks like that. Okay. Okay, don't mind my mess here. Okay. I should pin this. Okay. Now, what we want to do is sew around the outside, around the rectangle, not the inner line, but the outer line of the rectangle. So go ahead and prepare both of your panels like that. Get your seam ripper, and with your seam ripper, you cut a little hole like that. Snip. Okay. And you're tucking the fabric inside. The iron is going to help flatten this material. Okay. We want to create that rectangle. It's going to take a little finagling. So, okay, flip it to the side. It's a lot easier. Get it held down. I wish you were able to see this up close, but I'm sorry I can't hold the camera and show you how I'm doing this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I have a rectangle there. And I just want to smooth it down a little more because the goal is not to see the fabric underneath. I'm going to go ahead and use my little handy dandy trick that I learned from another YouTuber many years ago. I guess, you know, she does crafting, but I like the way she put glue on zippers. I used to use double-sided tape. I still do it. Place the zippers however you would like to. You know, left or right pull, doesn't matter. However, when you are doing the zipper for the opposite panel, you want to make sure that you put the zipper the opposite way. You do not want to lay them the same way. If you put this zipper where the zipper goes to the left, on the opposite panel, when we do the other panel, you want to do it where the zipper goes to the right. Okay, in this case, this zipper is going to the left. So I know what I need to do for the other panel. I want to put it going to the right. So now that this is attached here onto the back, we want to go ahead and sew as close to the triangle as possible along the fabric there, about 1/8 of an inch around. And I'm going to sew on 3.0. Okay, I've finished that. So now what I'm going to do is flip this over, and we want to put the backing on so that the backing goes on pretty side to pretty side, just like that. And we want to sew all around this rectangle. Is sew around all of this. I want to show you now why I wanted you to put your zippers facing opposite ways. Perfect. We got a little pocket there. I wanted you to put the zippers facing opposite ways because when your bag goes together, just imagine your bag being closed right now. See? So you have one zipper on this side and one on this side with your bag facing. Let's just imagine you want this to be the front side of your bag, but the zippers are facing the same way. Okay, that's why you put your panels, when you are putting the zippers on, you have to put them facing the opposite way. Okay. So I just go ahead, I'm trimming up the sides before I cut. Before I cut the squares. Okay, now we're ready to cut the 3-inch squares. What we want to do is measure a 3-inch box. So we want 3 inches wide and 3 inches long. Oops. We'll be marking that 3 inches and cutting. We now have our 3-inch squares on both panels. Perfect. You should have 2 pieces of fabric that are 1 by approximately 4 inches. Doesn't need to be perfect. Grab those 2 pieces of fabric right now. We're going to be working with this for the zipper. So with pretty sides together, your zipper and the fabric, what you want to do, fold your fabric in half, just like that. Slide your zipper into the fabric. Okay, just like that. Go ahead and sew across. I am using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. What we're doing is we purposely made the zipper, cut the zipper smaller because we want to have the decoration of having the tab with the same fabric on the outside. So if we made the zipper, if we cut the zipper the same exact size as the fabric, as the bag, then you wouldn't have a little decorative fabric, a little decorative tab. We want to have the tab on here. It makes it look nice to show that it's nice and flowing with the fabric. I'm going to do the same thing. You know, I'll close up that tab just so that I know that the fabric is not loose and dangling. It's not necessary, but I'm just doing it so that it's not dangling. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and prepare the same, prepare the other side of the zipper the same way. Fold this in half first. I know this is going to be even because both of the tabs are even, so my zipper will be even. Sliding this inside right in the middle of that tab, sewing across using the same measurement, 1/4 inch. Now, obviously, you need to make sure that you have put your zipper pull in before you did this. Listen, I have put the tabs on before without putting my zipper pull inside, and I had to take the zipper apart, take this tab apart. So make sure that you put your zipper pull inside on the zipper before you add the tabs. Now, obviously, if you chose to use a zipper, that's not a number 5. If you chose a ready-made zipper with a tab at the end, by all means, you get to skip this step. I'll be folding this, and I want to line up the ends of the zipper in order to find the middle. Okay, I'm lining up the ends, not the ends of my fabric, but the ends of the zipper tape where I put the fabric on. And I want to find the middle of the zipper now. All right, I have the middle of the zipper. Going to snip the zipper tape on both sides. That's going to be handy when we do both panels of the bag, because each side is going to tell me where the middle should go to meet up with our panels on the bag. We're going to close this bag up to finish it now. You need one side of your inner fabric face up. Your zipper. Oh, hold on. Let's get the middle of your panel, of the lining that we have face up. Let's find the middle again. We did this when we put the pockets on. We're going to find the middle and snip it right in the middle so you know where the middle of your lining is. We would like to find that middle of the zipper tape. Line it up with that middle panel that we snipped. Get your zipper panel, one of the side panels of the bag. We want the one that the zipper pull is towards the left side. That's what we want. We want the one where the zipper pull is towards the left side of the bag. I snipped my other panel, but I did not snip this panel. So I'm going to snip it to find the middle of this one as well. Okay. Put the panel face down. So you have the pretty side of your panel facing the pretty side of your lining. Line up those snips, and this way it's going to ensure that your sides match up. Pin. This is one of the few things that I actually do pin a tote bag. Go ahead and pin, across the whole thing. At this point, constructing the tote bag, it's like doing a zipper pouch. So go ahead and pin the rest of the bag. We're going to sew from one side all the way across. We're just going to connect the zipper. Just backstitch when you first put it on. Oh, I should say, if you have a zipper foot, go ahead and switch it out if you want to use a zipper foot. I don't use my zipper foot. Go ahead and switch out to your zipper foot if you would like to. I've been doing this long enough to know where my zipper is. I line up the edge of my fabric with the guide marker that's to the right side of the foot. So to the edge of the foot. So I know where my zipper is. Okay. I'm going to put the iron over this because it's going to make it flat and make it easier to do a top stitch going straight across. Be careful that you do not sew the webbing. That means that you do not iron the webbing. Okay. Let's put a top stitch. Okay, 1/8 of an inch. We need to prepare the opposite side. We have this so far. But we need to prepare this side. So the same thing we did before. Pretty side of the panel facing up. We've already snipped it. Did we snip this one? We didn't snip this one. We snipped the other one. Fold it in half. We want to snip where the middle is. All right. Pretty side facing up. Pretty side of this panel is going to touch the pretty side of the panel that's on the table. Your outer fabric, pretty side of the panel, face the pretty side of the panel there. Find the middle of both the other zipper, the other side of the zipper, and this panel, and put it together. So all three little snips should be lined up. Okay. We're ready to bring this bag to a close. We're getting there, guys. Okay. It's a better quality bag, so it's going to take a little bit more finagling. And now that we've cleaned that bag, we're just going to connect the zipper on this side of the bag. Okay, so all the way down. And again, use your zipper for food too. Okay, now there are, like I said, stiffer interfaces that you can use. I prefer these. I prefer using fusible fleece. You know, you could quilt your bags on the top if you want, but this webbing is going to serve the purpose of holding the fabric together. If you like that quilted design look, you don't have to use webbing. You can go ahead and quilt the outside. I need to pin this. Okay, I'm going to be putting a top stitch on this side. You know what? I should iron this down first to get it nice and flat. Okay. We want to put our top stitch going on this side now. I'm going to fold this up. Slide this under here. This is why I actually don't use my heavy duty I do have a heavy duty Singer. I just don't use it because the fusible fleece makes the bags easy to maneuver. So now we get to close this up just like a zipper pouch. This tab here is going to be the key ring that I insert inside. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love when you do bags with the tabs because look how pretty the edge of the bag looks with the zipper. And it stops it as well. Beautiful. I love it. So far, so good. Let me close it up now. Oh, make sure you open your zipper so that you can turn it right side out. What I like to do when I flip the bag like this, oh, I still have it pinned. I line up the canvas, the seams, I line them up so that I ensure that they are going to measure up. I'm seeing which one, well, I like to line it up so that I know that they're going to meet each other. Okay. Line it up. Okay. Pin right there. We want to make sure that stays in place right there. Like that's important. Pin everything all around. You're basically done now. It's like the zipper pouch. Go ahead and sew all the way around. Leave a portion of that bottom open. I'm going to leave about 6 inches open on the bottom, which I'm going to use that to turn the bag right side out. All the outside is, all of the inside around the bag is all sewn. And now what we need to do is we need to create the boxed corners right now. So we're going to grab at that fabric, pull it apart, line up the seams so that your seams, this one and this one, meet each other, and then sew right across that line right there. Okay. I'm using 1/4 inch seam allowance. Be sure that you backstitch. Okay, just adjusting. Backstitching. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing to all 4 of my corners. Alright, so that's it. We're gonna flip this right side out through the little hole there. Let's do it. Rah, rah. And then end up closing it up. I know this was a long project, but this is quality. It's not like the 15-minute where you see those little reels and they do a tote bag in 15 minutes. They don't show you the whole thing. Look how pretty those seams are lined up. Look how beautiful. They're lined up beautifully. Make sure you punch out those corners. Look how beautiful the tabs are. Yep. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Poke the corners down. Let's close this up. All right, go ahead and I don't know what's happening outside my window, but so go ahead and we want to close this up right there. You guys didn't see me close up the bag because there was some shenanigans going on outside in my community, so I shut off the camera. It was loud. Anyway, okay, tucking this in, and we are all done with this bag. Of course, you'll want to put the iron over it, but what's exciting is that we have a quality bag here. Not just one. I know when you see the reels, they look all easy and they look quick, but it takes time to do the quality bag, and they're not going to show you all of that, you know, on the video, of course, you know, so holding your attention is tough. Okay, so now we have made this bag together, and you see what it is to have a quality bag. I know the reels make it look easy. I know, I get it, but it takes a little bit of work, and you can definitely put deco if you want to make it hard inside. I like this. You know, you can quilt the top of it if you want to. There's so many things you can do with it. But definitely think about upgrading on your zippers if you want to take your bag to the next step. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.